It's time for Literally Wasted. So let's get literally wasted. Let's get literally wasted.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Literally Wasted. This is our February edition of our live book discussion. As you can see, we will be discussing Alien Clay by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Let's welcome our special guests, Kathy
Again.
and Alex.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us. We'll have another special guest joining us in about 10 minutes. It's Marianne, spoiler alert.
Well, you should have done it like the main character.
Hmm?
You should have like spoiled it like the
Oh,
main
I should have been
character
like,
did.
and you would think that these are the only people we'll have on there, but no. Next chapter.
Yeah.
Well, welcome everybody. Let's see who's here. Do I have to do the song?
Yep.
Hello, Kristen and Tammy and Doug and Jennifer and Cindy and Leanne and Willa, Tiffany and Donna, Brenda, Stacy, Rachel and Judy and Carrie and Kira, Jeff, Tim, Nicole and Brenda and Kent.
They're getting weirder.
It was improvised. It was interpretive.
Mhm.
It was interpretive. So here we are, ready to discuss Alien Clay, the book that felt longer than it was, not in a bad way. But we've got so much. I'm so excited for this book discussion. Whoever's missing this discussion is missing out because I'm very excited for this one. We get Kathy and Marianne are scientists. The rest of us aren't. I guess I'm not.
I also am not.
But what perfect people to have, scientists. A book about.
Wait, doesn't Alex? Don't you do something science related?
Like not biologist, scientist, but science enough where I was like, this sounds like my professor. I think that's why maybe.
So 3 science people for this book discussion. It's all lining up, and they've got some fun things planned. But we'll dive in while we wait for Marianne to get here. First things first. Adrian Clay, Alien Clay. What did y'all think of the book? Let's start with Kathy.
I liked this book. The first half was really interesting to me. The second half, I was saying this earlier, but I feel like it really escalated, and it got kind of. I think I mentioned this on Discord, maybe in the thread, but it reminded me of the sci-fi show like 10 years ago, Helix, that's kind of like sci-fi with some horror mixed in, but not like crazy horror, but like this level. This is what that reminded me of. And I liked that show, but I didn't love it. I think without the science and the academic kind of perspective that was in this book, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much, just like genre wise and theme wise. But the alien ecology and evolution was really interesting to me as an evolutionary biologist and ecologist. And then of course the academic scientist professor side of things was also like good timing for that, I think. So yeah, all in all, I really enjoyed reading this book.
Nice. Alex, what'd you think?
I really liked the concept. I really liked most of it in general, but there were times that I was just like, because it'd be like 2 lines of dialogue, and I was like, all right, stuff's happening. And then it was like, here's 10 more pages about how Kiln is a bunch of microbiomes that are trying to take you over, and the government hates us again. And those were the times that I was just like, you said that already. let something happen. But I thought it was really good. I really liked the concept. I really liked that the aliens weren't like aliens. They were super different, and I enjoyed that a lot. So it was a good break for me for a different sci-fi taste.
So we got scientists in the comments too. Who's here? Carrie's also a scientist. Will is a biologist. Christy, what did you think of the book?
I'm gonna echo you guys a little bit. I really enjoyed it. I loved how alien the alien world was. Like it was so different. I'm so used to reading alien books that like I can understand the aliens to a certain extent, and this wasn't that, and I really appreciated it. I do think it was a little repetitive sometimes, and it was really annoyed by how the main character kept spoiling things. Like at the end of like every chapter, like he spoiled. Well, he didn't like spoil, but he like, yeah, he was snarky.
He is like blatant foreshadowing.
Yeah,
It's like we're gonna do a revolution. It went about like you expect.
yeah. And I was over that really fast, but I really enjoyed it, and I did like his humor a lot, other than that part too. But I really enjoyed it. I'm glad we read this.
He's a mathematician, a biostatistician.
Yes.
Biostatistician. Everybody here's a scientist. I make funny videos. So I also really enjoyed this book. At first, especially like through part one, I was like, I don't see what everybody's seeing in because a lot of people raving about this book, and I was like, this feels tedious to me. I feel like we're getting a lot of like just sort of like, I mean, the setting was interesting, and the setup was interesting, and I just felt like it kind of slogged along for a little bit, and then boom, it like picked up as soon as they like started, the revolution. I was like, okay, here we go, and then it just kind of snowballed, and then went whoa. So but then I was into it at that point. I agree though with a lot of people that like this doesn't really seem like a big book, but it felt like a big book. Like this felt to me like a very long book. I don't know if it's just like the chapters were short or whatever, and there was a lot of them. I don't know, but like I just felt like I was reading something longer than what it felt like. It was like a TARDIS of a book. But I did really, really like this one. I think this is one of my favorite books that we've read recently for Literarily Wasted. Like I don't know if y'all know this, but I watch a lot of Star Trek. To go to an alien world that was so unlike anything that is depicted on TV, like these aren't like, Star Trek aliens are just people in makeup. This is unfathomable. And I really like that. I like that this truly felt visceral and alien, and his writing style for the most part I think was really great. I did notice that he threw in some like Gen Z slang every once in a while. He was like, I yeeted that slug.
I did know that. I did see that.
Okay, Adrian.
One other thing I loved was the opening of this book, like him waking up and everything is on fire and he's about to die, kind of. And I don't know, I thought that was an amazing way to start the story, and I was hooked from like the first page.
So I put the comment on the screen. Jeff said he really liked this. He's one of his favorite Literarily Wasted picks. It was very like, even though you can't really fathom these things, it was super visceral and like super just like descriptive, and I felt dirty, like grimy and like disgusting reading this book. Well, I hadn't showered in days.
Especially them waiting to be decontaminated, like noticing every like thing that they can feel in their body and wondering if like that's the death sentence. It was described really well. No.
She didn't mean to.
She had to stay up there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So those are good, like, just like surface level. Like, what you think of the book? We can get into it now. I mean, this book also felt. This is a new book, right?
I think
this
it's
is
2023 or 2023. Yeah,
it's relatively new. So like, it definitely is
Yeah.
felt a little timely.
Mhm.
It and
Wow, he's written a lot of books.
he has written a lot of books.
How do we pronounce Anton's last name? It's
Wrong. Apparently.
I keep wanting to pronounce it Dogdev, but I'm pretty sure the G is silent, so I'm assuming it's Dadev.
That's what I was saying in my head, because the way he explained it also used words I had to look up. Said something like elided over the G or something. I don't.
Yeah.
I
It
don't
wasn't
know what that
even like
means.
helpful
Yeah.
description of how they said it wrong. It's just like, okay, I don't know if that's what I'm doing too, but I gave up. I just probably said it wrong the whole time.
Well, you're in good company because everybody in the book said it wrong, except for, was it the Commandant one time? Someone one time said it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did anybody listen to the audiobook?
Oh no, I don't do
couldn't-
audiobooks.
I couldn't get the audiobook.
I listened to it. I'm not sure.
Oh no.
The main character. I feel
Yeah.
like I say this as someone who doesn't get my name mispronounced. So maybe I don't know, but like if I was on like a prison planet death sentence, them saying my name wrong is not
Yeah.
something I'm going to be mad about. Like I have bigger problems, and I feel like at the beginning it made sense because he was like adjusting, and then by the end when he was still like, they also said my name. I was like, dude,
You got bigger issues.
like you also might die out here, so I
No.
think it's okay. Also, your name's hard to say, so like it's not like they're being mean. They probably don't know. But that was the problem. That was my thing with the narrator, that I couldn't decide because I've never this author ever. I couldn't decide if it was a him thing or like a narrator thing. But I was just like, you're on this prison labor camp and you are still like griping that you have a grad student job of dissection and they're saying your name wrong. And bro, like it's okay.
Food is made of people.
Yeah.
Soylent Green.
Oh, I thought the artificial scarcity was really interesting in this book.
I will say that like he did a really good job at describing the commandant's methodology
Oh yeah.
and like the mandate's methodology for like keeping people in, I guess, uncomfortable, for lack of better words. I actually found the commandant to be a really fascinating character.
Yeah.
What did y'all think of Commandant Terrelin?
I did too. I mean, I didn't think much about him specifically, but I appreciated the description. I don't remember where it was, but the narrator was describing essentially like the kind of people that they would have to look for on Earth to bring to a place like Kiln to in those leadership positions, like someone who's going to be dedicated to the cause and stay that way, but also like essentially bottom of the barrel academic scientists, so that like they wouldn't like they could essentially afford to be out there and be willing to go out there and not like their career would be fine or wouldn't matter because they're terrible scientists. Which I could see the commandant being that kind of person, because he like he seemed to care about the science, but then also obviously the mandate was a thing, and that was like close to his heart, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. He was also fascinating to me.
Yeah, it was just like the context of the commandant and the volunteer, the non-prisoner staff of Kiln, of like sort of where they fit in the social hierarchy, and like who drew the straw to basically get sent out there. I guess it would be Vesican and Primat.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Rasmussen was at one point a volunteer.
She was Primat before she went crazy.
But then you had sorry, I'm getting over like a cold. Ooh, look who it is.
Ooh.
Without further ado, may I introduce the one, the only,
Oh,
the one, the only, Marianne and Jude.
hi!
Woohoo!
Oh, yeah,
Yay!
that's a cool shirt.
Excellent.
I didn't wear mine. I feel bad. We were just talking about Commandant Terrelin and the other non-prisoner staff of the camp.
Oh yeah.
And like how fascinating it was, the where they fell in the social structure to be like sent out there. And,
Yeah.
but
And
let's,
Feep, Foop, and Pop, whatever their names were.
yeah, Poop and Pop.
Yep.
We'll back up. Marianne, what did you think of Alien Clay?
I really liked it. This was my first Adrian Tchaikovsky book. I haven't read any of the others that people sort of talked about in Discord, although Jay was my secret Santa and gave me Children of Time. So I'm really excited about that. So this is my first time reading him. I think that, and I suspect that's why all three of us are on here, is that living the life of a scientist, I think a lot of it hit home. Not just sort of like, he goes on these, like all of a sudden there'll be like some philosophical paragraph where he's talking about science that was really, really cool. But then also just the sort of day-to-day interactions were also hit home for me as well. So I really liked it. Some people were talking about on Discord, I think Leanne mentioned how timely it feels right now. So that also was great. But presented in a way that didn't just like devastate or stress me out. Yeah, I marked a bunch of pages where all of a sudden he would write these paragraphs about things. So I was just like, whoa, I almost had to like close the book and put it down for a second because of how it felt. But yeah, I really liked it overall.
Nice. But now that we're caught up, yeah, the social structure of the camp, Dadev's and Arten's, his whole like journey from being this like awoken revolutionary to kind of interested scientist to then like actual like revolutionary to then like
Whatever.
excursionista to then, you know,
Part of the whole.
part of
Part of the
thing.
biome.
Yeah, let's was not expecting this book to go there. How did y'all feel you know, when we get to basically part 3, and you know, they basically like started walking back after their thing was destroyed. How did y'all feel as this sort of revelation unraveled of
I guess
like,
what they're going
what they
through.
had become?
Yeah.
Did that
I
like
thought
throw
it
you
was
off?
Fantastic. The only time I spent about 5 seconds being really mad when they were like, we're going to start walking, turn the page. You should have seen their faces when we got back. And I was just like, what happened? But then I thought he did a really great job because he built it up in a way of like when whoever the like guy is that they converted and he was like the archaeologist or whatever. I retained 0 names from this book, by the way.
I have a
I
list.
don't know who they all are. When he was like trying to find out, he was like, I'll help you if you tell me who the makers are. And then they're like, okay, here's a little bit of help, but also we need this. And then by the time I was just like, who are they?
Yeah.
Tell me too. Like, he's helped you a lot. Who are these people? So I thought he did a really good job in I think it's part 3 was the whole basically march back to the camp, back and forth. And that was very well done, I thought.
Also, there was a crab in this book.
There was.
Yeah.
Page
I
274.
mean, it was mentioned quite a bit, the stone crab or whatever.
Yeah. That what's her name?
Primat was
We
writing.
rode during the Great Battle.
Yeah.
Amazing.
What about the rest? I mean, for me, it was like I like flip flop between like this is really fascinating to like, is this a horror novel? I mean, are we just getting like Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Like what is going like because it's first person, so we're like reading it from Arden's perspective, and I was like invested, confused. Like I feel like I was supposed to be confused, but like I was like a little unnerved. I was a little bit like enlightened. I don't know. Like, and it was just drawn out in such a way. It was like I think I said this to you. I was like, it would be too much for him to just tell us what was going on, right? No, he's gonna be literary about it.
Well, he also can't because he tried to explain it to Vesican and couldn't. Not really. It's like one of those things that you can only know by being a part of it. But I really did like that that Arden wasn't safe. Like I liked that he got infected or whatever, and I liked that he's a part of it. And I like that I knew while reading it that it wasn't guaranteed that he was going to make it through.
Yeah.
It's like yawn. Wait, what is this? I'm digging this and yawn. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. Part 3 for me was not as interesting as the earlier parts. But yeah, I kind of felt the way Adam did, just kind of, I don't really know what's going on here. I'm not sure if I really like where this is, or if like I don't like this ending. I and just kind of waiting for, and I actually had the opposite reaction of Alex when he started talking about, okay, this is day 1 of walking, this is day 2, and then you turn the page and now they're back. And I was like, oh, good. So he's not going to take us through all of this because I am ready to move on. And then no, he's going to go back and through all of those things.
I think I felt the same way as you. I was like, oh, good. Oh, compared to the 7-day. Because I was like, oh no, here we go. We're gonna have this long.
But then it was actually interesting. So.
And then it went back and forth, and structurally, we were talking about this morning. Mm-hmm. Like structurally, it was a very interesting choice to bounce back and forth, to all of a sudden be like a non-linear story. And I was like, could it have worked linearly? Like if they because we got all the pieces. If we just rearranged the pieces, what would be the difference? It wouldn't have been
as interesting. Like the revelation wouldn't have been as big.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been we got it revealed to us when the archaeologist got it revealed, also basically like within a page or 2 of when they figured it out. Like it was like timed that like as they're figuring it out in the wood, well, I guess not the woods, but the alien woods.
Yeah,
like the revolution's figuring it out, and then we got to learn it too. So
yeah, I feel like it like helped to build this suspense because you knew since he went back and was retelling like everything that was happening during the journey, like you could see that weird things are happening. Like what's going on? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I eventually like was okay with it, and then it went back to being linear at the end. And did you notice that I don't know, I mean, I guess it's like the section titles, the French words for liberty, equality, brotherhood, is that what it is? It's the French Revolution was their like.
I didn't pick up on that. I picked up on the French because I was translating them, but yeah, I didn't pick up on the connection.
That was their.
Well, that's funny you say that because I think it was Leanne. Someone posted in Discord today that they were like, "This feels like the book," and it was Les Mis, like one of the songs. And I was just like, "Does feel like now that you say that, I'm gonna listen to that today because it sure does."
Yeah, one day more. But yeah, that was an interesting little like sort of revolutionary. And it was interesting to me that, in spite of like becoming one with the planet and all their sort of enlightenment and revelations, they were still like let's kick the mandate out.
But they're still themselves.
I mean, they're still people, right?
Yeah.
Like they're
He
still like,
stressed that. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he kept being like, if we had the mind spores, like I mentioned, that would have been different. But no, we don't have mind. There's not
It's
spores.
not mind reading. They're not like the colony.
Right.
It's not control.
It's just knowledge.
It's just communication.
And then the sort of Twilight Zone-esque finale of it all.
Yeah, I really
with them going to Earth.
Coming to Earth.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like they were gonna go bring everything back. Yeah, that bothered me a little bit. Like I liked the ending in the sense of like they're experiencing this level of connectedness that they hadn't prior to, and that when it was taken away from them, that put them in this desperate state. And I was like, oh, this is very interesting and totally cool that they ended up in this way. I didn't really like the idea of them coming back to Earth with it, because then I thought, oh, now they're going to start messing with our sort of evolutionary progression, versus like the versus what was happening on Kiln, like on that planet, like and I think like unintended consequences might be pretty significant. So that's the only part of the ending that I didn't love.
Yeah, I'm interested to know y'all's takes as scientists about like introducing this very, very alien and incompatible, what was mostly thought of as incompatible, to Earth. Where like, I guess on Kiln, it took a minute to like figure us out.
Oh yeah, they had to figure out the key.
The bridge.
Yeah, the bridge.
And they had the capability of doing that, like their organisms did, because they were used to doing it always. I think if something from there came here, in an isolated way, it would probably just die. Like I don't think it would have the time or ability, like evolutionary time, to be able to survive. And so with them coming back in mass like that, it almost feels like an infection.
Yeah, and there's a difference between, doing this in your native ecosystem and doing this as an invasive species somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Invasive.
I didn't understand what would be the point? Like, are they trying to intentionally bring this to Earth? Like, why? Like, I don't. Yeah.
The vibe I got was that they're trying to undermine the mandate, like by coming back, which I get. I also think like the time differences, the idea that the mandate or something like it would still be what's in control, I would find really interesting if that, because it would take them 30 years to get back. But from a evolutionary perspective, I thought it was a really interesting thought experiment. Like a lot of sci-fi writers will try and come up with like, what could potentially evolve on a different planet with slightly different circumstances. And this one I felt like was pretty different from any of the other ones I've ever come across. I thought it was that really, really interesting in that way.
Like no Jaws. Like I appreciated how he pointed that out. Like I've never thought about how, like obviously Jaws, maybe not obviously, Jaws on Earth have this very specific evolutionary history that you wouldn't have necessarily or even likely seen on like a completely different planet. So like these animals, when you just say draw an alien animal, and we kind of segue, we had this problem with Chat GPT. Like you're the all of the examples that are training these models are all based on essentially like what we know from Earth. So just trying to think of what would these aliens look like, not starting from an Earth perspective. It's just like, we were kind of talking about this earlier before Marianne got here. Like, it's just completely like there's aliens, but then when I'm reading these descriptions, I'm like, what? Like, I can't even picture what this is supposed to, like an alien that's essentially an animal sort of, but no jaws. What's this supposed to look like?
Right. Yeah. Which I think is why we went to the Chat GPT. We're like, well, let's try and get AI to come up with this. And then AI was like, no.
Yeah. Like, there's no three-legged animals to train these models.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really interesting.
Elba,
Benny wants food.
No,
Yeah, no, the
Oh,
most interesting part to me about all of this was, I mean, aside from, in addition to the alien aspect, the creativity there, was I guess the ecology of the symbiosis, how life worked on Kiln, and the differences that come with that, like especially like as a taxonomist by training, trying to think of how we would deal with this. And I love that he touched on that, because you never see that in science fiction writing.
Yeah.
That the closest I could come up with thinking about how this would work is with lichens, because there it's a symbiosis, but a lichen is always a fungus and a photosynthetic partner. Like there's not all of these like different combinations that change at will. And like, how do you name a species? What do you base that on? And yeah, I can understand the headache. I can see where that would come from. But yeah, it was really, really cool to think about.
it was. I mean, it was cool for me to think about it. I just watched Star Trek.
I like Star Trek. I like Deep Space Nine specifically.
Deep Space Nine is so good.
It's the only Trek I've watched.
It's the best Star Trek. It's the best Star Trek show. So this was my thought process about the, aside from the scientific incompatibilities, and like Leanne brought up, like, would they even be able to maintain it over 30 years of space travel on a ship?
Right.
But if successful and as intended, as Jeff says, it would be interesting how the population of Earth would react to the blooming of awareness of everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
The book seems to suggest it would be peaceful evolution, but that is definitely a question of what. For me, I was like, that might be kind of nice. But you mentioned that the sort of beautifully descriptive way of like how he described when he was isolated.
Yes, after he was isolated, he talked about like, I'm like noted it. It's conversations with people, words dropped into a well, then attempting to read the ripples for the true meaning of what's being said. He can't understand me either. He can only hear the words I use and interpret them through the filter of his own nature. He can never know. Like, I don't know, that one really spoke to me, because, sometimes you just feel isolated or feel lonely or feel like the communication's not there. And he expressed it so beautifully and sadly. Makes
you feel like we're just missing something.
While I don't want, the alien fungus.
I don't really want you to know what I'm thinking all the time.
He made it sound kind of nice.
Everybody just kind of knows what we're up to, and you kind of I think it comes with a deeper understanding of people that maybe are different than you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they used Okostar a lot for that, in that like being able to. It was Okostar, right?
The one that he killed.
No, the other one, Ilmus Etrin. Like being able to like be in their mind and kind of know where they came from and why they feel the way they do and the experiences that they've had. It was really interesting.
So when you have the level of awareness of everyone, what happens with the really bad people in the world? What trumps what?
Well, I feel like you would like at least understand what they're mad about. Like you would now have insight to, like, we have projections of emotions, and so like maybe they're mad because they're scared of something, or they're mad because they're really mad, or like you would suddenly know, and you'd be able to see what is fake, what is legitimate like hatred, and what is all sorts. And then also it's like their one guy that they, as soon as they all got like self-aware and they were like, you ratted on us, you would know everybody's like skeletons in their closet. You would be like, oh yeah, you're worse than I thought.
And he was even like remorseful about it. I mean, he would have still done it.
Yeah, that's just who he was.
But I mean, the bad people. I mean, the thing about bad people is that bad people don't think that they're bad. So like
Well, I think that's part of it too. Like everybody that was connected, they could see all the bad things as well as the good things, and they had the explanations behind it as well. So I guess there's just levels of acceptance, and some things some people you just can't accept.
Like Commandant Terrelin. Speaking of Commandant Terrelin, going back to him, was anybody else upset that we didn't really get to see him get a comeuppance?
I felt like he did, like sort of being secluded up in that like
In that
a
little
room by
box.
himself, like
He
and
didn't get to
still,
see it.
yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I guess I didn't think about that, but like it felt to me like he was so isolated by the end of it when they're all talking about all that interconnectedness and everything, and he had literally walled himself off from everyone else.
But his lieutenant, I compared her situation or their situation to that one death in Jurassic World where it was like this assistant who all of a sudden got like eaten by the pterodactyl, thrown up in the air, and then like flipped around, and then like the other big dinosaur came out. I was like, you did not deserve that. like we could just like barely see this person, and they get one of the most gruesome death scenes in the entire book. I was like, that death should have been reserved for Mr. Commandant Terrelin, and just like coming after that, and we're just like getting to hear about like how he got trapped in the box, and then like I was like, I wanted that for him.
No, okay, so I get being upset that you didn't get to see his demise, but like I thought there was a really nice symmetry to it with what he did to what's her name, Rasmussen, Ilse Rasmussen, like shutting her off or cutting her off from everybody, and then what he did to Arten.
Yeah.
And like knowing that like he has failed and he's not going home and that he's gonna die in that box alone. Like while we didn't get to see it, that was pretty heavy.
I mean, it's heavy, but I would rather see him get spored and claw his eyes out. Shoot himself in the face or whatever. Isn't that what happened? Isn't that what happened to the assistant or the lieutenant? Is that they were like Rasmussen basically jumped on them, like
started like
breathed spores into their face when they started clawing their face off, and then like shot themselves. I was like, whoa, that was intense.
Sorry, dude.
And like we barely saw this person in this whole book. Like, I'm so sorry, you did not deserve that.
Yeah.
That was the Jurassic World, like.
The other thing before we move on from the like connectedness concept, the other thing I found really interesting was this idea of like, and you guys may have mentioned it before I hopped on, but like a consciousness sort of arising out of that connectedness. So I've seen similar concepts to this in other sci-fi books, especially with like computers that are connected, right? And so, or like, and over galaxies or whatever, computers being connected and it causing this consciousness. And so I found that really interesting. So if they came back to Earth and everything sort of spread, then we would have like a similar, I assume, like Earth level big consciousness that, if you sort of imagined everybody, each individual being that had these spores or whatever they are as being sort of a neuron in the brain, then you would end up with the idea of a consciousness sort of arising out of it. And I thought that was really cool too.
Yeah, I had like a different, this kind of goes with that, but I had like a different kind of view on the end than I feel like a lot of people. I can see why people would be like, you're going to take this back to Earth and either immediately die or like infect everybody. But I feel like, so like also background, I do like infectious disease work is what I do. So I feel like they're all like on a way less dramatic extent. It's like something like rabies where like once you get it, it like changes your motivation. And so like, this whole biology like evolved to like
that makes sense.
And so now it's in a consciousness that's like there's more. We got to go give it to them.
That's cool. Yeah.
Good idea. Like they probably are going to get there and walk out in the oxygen and it's just going to be like dead immediately. Like it can't survive, but it doesn't know that. So when I read it, I was just like, bad idea, but your brain is infected. So
that's such a cool connection. I didn't, that did not cross my mind until you said that.
Like
That's
that
really interesting.
Probably didn't know there were. I guess I don't know what it knows.
Like a parasite that
probably doesn't
changes,
know
yeah, a
that.
parasite that changes the host behavior in order to make the parasite like easier to spread or something.
Yeah.
That's
They didn't know there were other places to go, and then they found humans, and they were like, "There's other planets. We should go to that, and like we'll get more little fake bacteria things on that planet too." I don't even know what they are. I don't know if he ever called them a.
that makes sense.
I know we called them funguses a lot, but I don't. They probably were like fake funguses. I don't know what they were.
Yeah.
Though it makes me think of those, like is it a fungus that gets in those ants and makes them climb up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
I'm
seen
thinking about this video that I would always show in intro bio that when we're talking about parasitism that had all those examples, like the plasmodium and malaria was one, rabies was one, and then you had the ants with the fungus that makes them climb up and
Yeah.
die. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
And like
So-
the ant probably thinks it's a good idea to go.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't know that it's dumb.
Or like there's a parasite that infects like crickets or something or some other bugs and makes them jump in the water and drown because that parasite will breed in the water. Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
Are we
I
on
don't know
film?
that one. That's gross.
That's scary. I hope I don't get that.
I thought about rabies a lot during this book. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's a good point.
unreliable narrator for sure.
Oh, that's a very good.
That's a good point.
I will say, I know some people didn't like him as a narrator. I really liked him. I loved that he kept, like a couple of times at least, getting drunk and running his mouth. He'd be like, and I probably shouldn't have said this, but then I said it anyway, and just like after he had one too many or whatever. And I thought that was, I was like, yep, he's a scientist. I know this person. Like I know.
Yeah, I thought he was a great narrator. He
Yeah.
wasn't dry.
Mm-mm.
That's
He was
even though
Hilarious.
Like the random comments, like Marianne pointed this one out, but I had also highlighted it too. I think, like I'm gonna say, it's like talking about primat. Like I understand now what it's like to walk in her shoes. Feet, shoe.
And I was like, like I immediately went and found you.
Towards the end, he says, "I admit at this point, I'm just being cryptic for the pure fuckery of it."
yeah.
But yeah, the shoe one I highlighted also.
oh man, yeah,
Marianne
he was.
comes into my little work area and she's like, "Look what I just read."
We're gonna need to work there. That sounds fun. I need to go get some degrees. Yeah, I was getting to that. It's time to do some presentation, I think.
Oh yay!
We have, since we have scientists here, they couldn't help it.
We can't.
They prepared some presentations, and this one was done by Kathy. So I'll let you take the lead on this one.
This has
Uh,
nothing
tell
to do
us-
with science.
Tell us what you learned and how you got there.
So we collectively learned that ChatGPT
Papyrus.
has problems with 3 legs specifically. Yeah, so there was a discussion on the Discord about what fonts are the best and worst. And some people said, I think Dan is gone right now, but said that Papyrus was awesome. And some people said that Papyrus is trash. So I was like, I'm just going to make the title Papyrus. Anyway. All right. So most of these are trying to describe the elephant. So all of these are going to be like some variation of just this prompt that I wrote up based on like the description of I don't remember if it's the elephant or the elephant's dad, but one of those. And so essentially just seeing like what can ChatGPT do with that. So just fed it the description.
Oh,
So that's the first one.
Oh, excellent.
I'm like, okay, but I said it should only have 3 legs, like specifically like a tripod. So let's try this again.
oh man, that's more.
So here's the revised version of your alien with exactly 3 legs. 2,
Like a
3,
tripod.
4, 5, like a tripod.
That's not 3.
Not quite, but it always gets like the other stuff right too, and it a lot of times is missing the eye stalks. Like it has a bunch of eyes, but no eye stalks. All right, so let's try again. Please give it exactly 3 legs, like a tripod.
Oh,
So now it started to run with the elephant theme. It's like, well, okay, that it still has 4 legs. It looks too much like an elephant, so let's just trash this and start over. Same prompt again. I also wanted it to like label the limbs, like only 3 and label them. So it didn't label them, but it gave me bullet points.
What? Okay.
And I
Alien
left
with tusk
out,
trunk and
yeah.
shark.
So I didn't say anything about elephant. So it didn't get that from the prompt.
Wow, tusk featuring.
A fan of micey scales.
It's got a tusk, trunk, and Turks.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Turkey.
maybe 6 legs, 5 or 6.
Land colored. That's not words.
Yeah.
That's
Amazing.
So, okay, but I still want it to have exactly 3 limbs. Still trying to get this.
whoa.
Whoa.
Exactly 3.
And it's giving me the eye stalk. It's not connected to anything.
That's not connected to anything.
Create an alien with tanks. Here's it
Spewing
with
long
exactly
and
3 limbs as you requested.
I feel
Okay,
like
so
I have.
all right, let's start over again.
Brain disease.
Yeah, so same prompt. This time I said, please make the image look anatomical with labels, thinking like it's just going to give me like the image and then maybe it'll label stuff. No, we get an inside view of it.
Whoa.
Why are his eyes so big?
I don't know, but there's no eye stalks there either.
Why is
And it has like
Man.
random body parts that are separate and like as a blow up, so you can label them.
Oh, nice.
Tongue, trunk. It seems to always focus on the tusks and the trunk.
How many vowels are in that one on the top right?
Oh my god.
All right, but it still has 4 limbs, so exactly 3 limbs. Now we have eyes on the feet.
Eyes, tusk,
Turks, tusks,
Trunk.
tusks, tunks, trunk.
Along with
pale
thick
moldy.
metal
Pale moldy appears a lot too. All right,
A lot
we're
of tusks.
getting close to the end. So now, okay, done with the legs. So let's just give it eye stalks now. It's like, all right, you want eye stalks.
Oh,
I forgot about
no.
And rocket boosters.
It's got rockets.
I was like, I have no idea where I got that from, but I think just because there was the word flame was in the prompt, like flame colored metallic plumes. So I guess that's where the rocket boosters came from.
It's not even pointing to those with the flame colored metallic plumes.
All right, so this is amazing, but can you make it have exactly 3 limbs? Let's try this one more time. And we get too much like an elephant. And I'm kind of tired of seeing its insides too, but we do have pale, moldy, and exactly body parts.
It has exactly body
It
parts.
has exactly body parts and tonks, tucks skin.
Man.
All right, so yeah, let's give it eye stalks. It's like, all right, you want eye stalks? Here they are.
Ah,
Oh,
that is straight up elephant in the front, though.
Yeah.
Exactly 3 body parts.
So I was like, all right, it's too much like an elephant. But yeah, exactly 3 body parts, eye stalks body parts. All right, so yeah, if it helps, this is too much like an elephant. It's supposed to be an alien. All right.
Ah. Just add more eyes.
Those
But
are
it
like-
still looks like an elephant.
no more and 10 hind legs.
No more hind legs. All right, I think they're like one more series of a couple of them, and then I'm going to do the end. All right, so this time, no anatomical thing. I don't want to see the insides. Just label the body parts. Like, okay, it's not an elephant anymore.
I can pretend that has 3
Yeah.
legs.
Pale, moldy green. Tunk in the tucks. One more
I like
time.
this one. I like this one.
yeah.
Let's make it have exactly 3 limbs. Now I get a
Oh my god. It's like a shrimp.
yeah,
Wow.
It's a
with
crab
lick,
shrimp.
lick looms.
I hate this one.
I don't like this one at all.
Trunk tusks, pale moldy tucks. Yeah, I think this is the next one's the last one. They can have exactly 3 limbs. We get this.
That one's
No.
cute. I think that was cute.
Maybe okay, three hind legs, I guess.
But it does have an eye colbid.
Yeah.
And IX.
IX.
IX. Yeah.
Good.
This is terrible.
All right, the last thing. So I initially had done each of these individually, like at the end of the book, the last battle. But I didn't put those in here because I thought the other day, what if I ask it to do like a battle scene with all of these things? So just give it humans versus aliens, nothing specific, and then just straight from the book, these 3 alien species. So this is the first thing that it spit out for me.
Whoa.
Stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers.
Well,
I don't know
minus
if I
the
can move
stormtroopers, this
this.
is pretty amazing.
Isn't that great?
I don't know if the box is covering the text, but oh, there it goes. Yeah. So, and it sort of tells you kind of what the 3 aliens were, but the stormtroopers are cool. Like this random guy up here at the top, the umbrellas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, he's on there. Why umbrellas?
And they gave me a couple more that were kind of interesting, like a kind of a World War I or World War II themed one. Again, it's like the exact same prompt, just seeing what it would do. And I like the hunchbacked umbrellas.
Yeah, umbrellas.
Just kind of putting them all together.
Frond-backed worms.
The guy is holding the gun behind his.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a pool trick shot is what
Yeah.
he's doing.
Swoons of laser umbrees. And then the last one I have is kind of a newspaper clipping, I guess,
Yeah.
with
Would
spears,
just not go
as
well.
Marianne pointed out. They're apparently fighting with spears.
That's the way to do it.
And the umbrellas, parachuters, I guess, paratroopers.
And they just gave up on these umbrella creatures.
Yeah.
Those are just splotches.
This jellyfish.
Yeah, the one when I wish I had put it in here, but the one when I just gave it that clawed umbrella prompt, it had like a bunch of umbrellas. It was like this gray, like kind of a black and gray scenery. The umbrellas with like big claws hanging down. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, these are like CD covers. It's like
Yeah.
CD art.
All right, that's the end of
Album art.
mine.
These are amazing.
Yeah, this is well done. By you, not by ChatGPT. ChatGPT
In the book.
failed.
okay. I think
It was a very scientific presentation. AI. It made our song though. The song at the
Fail.
beginning. So Marianne, you have one too?
it's uploading. I'll see.
Gosh.
Well, in the meantime, let's go ahead and announce the book for April.
Let me make sure there's not like a 5-vote difference.
Okay. Take your time.
Okay, yeah. It's still The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett.
The Tainted Cup.
Oh, nice.
That's for April. And as a reminder, for March, we're going to read Trust of the Emerald Sea by
Trust
Brandon
of the
Sanders.
Emerald Sea. Brando Sando. All you Bransan fans. It's time. Time to read a full-on Bransan book.
Yeah,
As opposed to
because we just did a short story last time.
the short story.
Okay, it's on here. I don't know how to make it.
it.
I see it.
Okay.
Introducing this presentation.
Okay.
Not in papyrus.
Okay. I didn't think to do that. I wish I thought to do that. Okay. So this was I did a selection of the ones I tried. There was a lot more, and I don't pay for ChatGPT, so I only could do 3 a day. So this was several days worth of effort. So I only put my first prompt on here so you get an idea of what I was doing. So this is the first prompt I gave it, where I did the description, and it did pretty good, although it looked like an elephant with worms and the eyeballs coming off of it. And so I did, like Kathy was really focused on trying to get it to give it 3 legs, and this is where we started to struggle. So at first we were talking about like the prompts I would give it were leg focused, and then we had this discussion in Discord about how they think you're talking about the back limbs, and so then I started calling it hind limbs and forelimbs. Tried to give it 3 legs like a tripod, and it really struggled.
Wow.
Like, this was after I said it still has 4 legs or something like that, and it was like, okay, here's your thing with exactly 3 legs. So it says exactly 3 extendable, contractible limb arrangement. And I was like, I literally wrote back because I talked to ChatGPT like I having a conversation, and I was like, I think it has 11 now, send, and then it would try something else.
Exactly 3 contractible.
I really. This is when I asked it like
Like a tripod.
like a tripod, and it was like a tripod. Like it just couldn't even.
Yeah, the tripids.
And so this is my favorite.
Oh,
Kathy
no, that's a
said,
pet.
I love this one. This is when I started all over again. Kathy, I showed it to her at work, and she goes, "That looks like Dr. Seuss meets Lisa Frank."
Yeah.
And
Because you had said Dr. Seuss something. I was like, oh yeah, like Lisa Frank. Yeah.
yeah, all the colors were sort of these like soft pinks and blues. This one's my absolute favorite. I would totally have this as a pet. Like, it's adorable.
Oh yeah, as long as it's small.
This is another one of my favorites. I really like.
This creature has exactly 3 legs.
Why is the word exactly like corrupt?
I
That's
think-
the only corrupt word in that
Because
sentence.
it knows that it's wrong. It knows that that's wrong.
At
Like,
this
this creature
point-
has exactly 3 legs.
At this point, it had been several days, and I kept trying all these different ways of trying to ask it to do 3 legs, and it was like, I felt like ChatGPT was getting mad at me. And it was like, yeah,
Straight up.
and
It's a
so
lie.
this is the one time I got 3 legs. This sort of like
Hey,
gym going mouse elephant thing looks like it has 3 legs. This is when I used somebody in Discord had suggested using an amputee as a prompt. I will say I got lots of horrifying ones using that as a prompt. I only put one of them in here. And I would ask for it to be an amputee of the hind limb, and it just did not care. It also started sticking eyeballs all over the place.
oh my gosh.
This is the least gruesome one I had that was an amputee. There were others that were pretty gnarly.
I'm having nightmares.
I'm sorry, just a couple more. This is today, my last efforts today. I started all over again. I gave it the exact same prompt as I gave it on the Dr. Seuss Lisa Frank one. I like literally copy pasted it, and it gave me this. And so I found that really interesting that like day to day, the same thing will spit out something completely different.
Those back 2 legs, I'm just gonna say, aren't connected. So
Yeah.
it's a 3-legged animal.
I tried Kathy's prompts of like getting it to label things. And so
I don't like that.
What is this, the front or the back?
Both.
it says it's the front leg, left hand leg,
Left-hand leg.
left hand leg. And then the last one was this one. So
That's obviously the front leg.
I tried. It was a ton of fun. It was unsuccessful. ChatGPT, I think, hates me now. Like every response was like, "This is just what you requested with exactly 3 legs. Leave me alone." And so it just couldn't get it. It was really amazing.
You need, if you haven't posted it, you need to post the one that has like, this is exactly 3 legs, because that is like, that one's perfect just because it's such a blatant lie.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
like,
Yeah. Have you guys seen the
it's gaslighting.
The Good Place, that movie, The Good Place, or show The Good Place? There's like the part where the Janet character is all messed up and she keeps handing people cactuses no matter what they ask for. And that's what I kept thinking about in this. It was like, the thing you want here. I don't care. I'm giving you this thing with 11 legs. So
That's amazing.
Those
You guys, I love this. I'm expecting this for next time also. So this is just like the new normal.
Presentation day.
Scientific.
Yeah.
yeah.
And for everybody watching, if you want more, go check out the Discord if you haven't already, because some of this was in there, and then some of that's in the Discord will be new to you. It's
I
pretty
need
great.
to go look.
Yeah.
Yeah, the conversation was a ton of fun.
Oh yeah. It was. I got on today and like read everything after I just caught up, and it was really fun to read.
So We've hit the hour mark. Final thoughts on Alien Clay.
Can you give me the description?
Not right now.
It's not for ChatGPT. It's for different.
Well, hang on. We're wrapping up. That was
Well, I really enjoyed this book, and I'm excited to read more by this author. He's been on my radar for a long time. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to read more from him.
And if for those of you in the comments who have read more, make some recommendations.
Yeah, because it's a long list. I
Also,
saw
because I've never read his books, I don't know what I pictured him as, but his picture's in the back of the book, and I was wrong. It is the weirdest author picture.
Let me see.
I
Ooh,
love
oh,
the one with where he has like beetles on his vest. I loved it so much.
Like
That's-
I just basically pictured him as the narrator. I
that's a
think.
magician.
His whole book,
His, like,
because he used like
eyebrows.
Gen Z words. I was picturing like a fairly young guy because it's like a new book. Maybe it's like a young guy, and then I like got to the end and I was like, oh, that is not the guy I thought wrote this book.
Tiffany says, I'm planning to finish reading it, Ron.
Yeah, the beetles on his vest totally sold me. I think I was biased to like it because I looked at his picture before I started. I was like, oh, this is going to be great.
This book broadened my horizons. I think that this book, my final thoughts, really enjoyed it. I definitely want to read more from Adrian Tchaikovsky. I will say that this is, for as much as I felt like some of it was like ups and downs, this is like great science fiction. Like this is like, to me, like what science fiction is all about. And I was really into it. Like just taking me to someplace new, making me think, putting new perspectives into my brain. Good stuff. I enjoyed it. I'm glad we read it.
Yeah.
Even though at first I was like, oh God, I'm never going to make it.
You wouldn't let me read it.
No, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
That's not true.
Very true.
I would never censor your reading.
Very true.
No.
You banned it.
I did not think you would enjoy it.
And then you wouldn't let me read it.
That's true.
You can read it at your own risk.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I think I wouldn't want to read something that's like exactly like this, I think. But he's a great storyteller. And I know he has a lot of other books that are not exactly like this. This was the second book by Tchaikovsky that I had read. The first one was Service Model, which I think is maybe new. It might be this year, I think, or like just last year that came out. But similar kind of dark humor vibe, but also from what I have heard is still very different from his Children of Time series, which I think is maybe his best known, which I haven't read yet, but it's near the top of my list.
Yeah, that was on my list. That's where I knew of him from, was Children of Time. But Willis's Guns of the Dawn is really good. Anything else? Any more final thoughts on Alien Clay? I wish we had more time.
No, this was just so fun.
It's a good one to talk about, and we did the ChatGPT stuff. This is just good.
Yeah.
So thank you all for joining us and providing your insights, and Jeff recommending Children of Time, science and space war, space travel stuff. Love that. Time Debt. Ooh,
Nice.
Inception. Oh, no, Interstellar. But yeah, this was awesome. Please join us next month for Trust of the Emerald Sea and our usual club meeting on the dates of March something and the other one.
Date?
We'll post it.
No, that's already posted.
It's already posted.
Yeah, because we did the double post.
We did the thing.
Yeah. Mhm.
Neat. All right. Don't have any nightmares?
Yeah, really.
And we'll see you very soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.